So continuing here, reading short factual stories in this session and some poems. And the time is 25 minutes after midday. And the date is the 25th. It's Saturday, 25th May 2013. The first short story, or factual story, is, the title is A Life in a Nutshell. Into the kitchen of the mission, with a capital M, the man who wandered in with fast food in both hands was keen to talk. Vietnam. When I was 18, drugs relied on to escape unpleasant realities. Back in civilian life, I failed as a hitman, lucky to be 2 years sober. I had no wish to be in a morgue. Because of crack. Spiritual things are happening to my life. God's rescue and act brought me here. Meeting you has been an uplifting experience. He remained silent as the Vietnam veteran continued to biograph his past and present life. In words, that is, he wanted to detain the Spanish-speaking mission resident longer. It was midnight. He shook hands and left. God had given him the patience to act the role of listener for the second time that day. And he had also, previous to that experience, had a 2-year stint living in the home as a guest of a psychotherapist who was specializing in alcoholism. So that was also one of the reasons why I was able to patiently listen to the story that was being related to me on that occasion. Here are some poems. The first is Harmony. Counting in my head, time pauses in between. Tapping out loudly, muting the melody. Tempo, unflinching, sings. Harmony begins. Faces, photographs taken, secure in annals, plenty. Faces, some unprepared, submit gently. Sobriety, day-to-day basis. Recall vividly genuine hunger, close up for sobriety. Tempo, everything in limbo, waltzing, best for now. Too tired or too tired to rock, limbs stricken by fear. Recent hangovers, clear. Repetition, once not enough to absorb what is felt. reflective or reflection projects. Repetition. Free will, in other words, volition. Men sitting here have nothing to fear from curious observation, aroused by solitude and free will. And finally, in this segment I read March. The Japanese for that is Sangatsu. A late surge, hints of spring, demolish premature resignations that February failed to kill. And closing out this session with what I refer to as appropriate music choice, and this track is called Evening Service. It's based on fact, and at the end it was really observation of something which was very touching to me, and it was titled Evening Service. The date is the 5th of September 2006, and here I am again at Node, continuing to record a diary of reflective situations, memorable. This one was at a wonderful institution there in the NYRCM in Lower Manhattan, New York. I made some observations there in 1994. At the controls is Junichi Yamada-san, and he's the engineer and manager of this studio here in Chiyoda-ku, Tokyo. I'm Edmund L. Bridgewater. The title of this piece is Evening Service. The format was different from the previous evening service I attended. Both services had one thing in common. Just as I am, without one plea. The two lay preachers conducting the service. One read from the Bible, said prayers, and the other preached. Appeals were made, the usual, for individual members in the mission chapel. Men yearning for a meal and a bed for the night, to exhibit openly in testimony their belief in God, in words spoken and in song. I focused, then lapsed into a trance-like state. I considered this way of worshipping predictably demanding, but I always manage to cling steadfastly to a memorable statement, verse, passage, read. I witnessed competition I disapproved of between the two lay preachers. The one who said less was more effective, I thought. When the service ended, the congregation, all men, trooped out, some descending downstairs to the basement to eat.
and the remainder